So I've had some experiences lately that I want to document for myself as well as anyone of you guys that may watch these videos. So it's about auto repair. I was speaking with some owners recently, and one particular owner that I have been speaking with for a couple of days, who's trying to sell that we were interested in purchasing their business. And um, so, it turns out, I went over there and checked out the operation, and I was like, "Why are you selling, man? Like, what's going on here?" Business obviously has a lot of meat on the bone. And you say that obviously you're not, he's not in his 60s or 70s. He's a little bit younger, and turns out he's got three or four other businesses that make more money than this business, and he's not willing to commit or can't commit to this business. So I think that was a huge thing for me because I said, you could make so much more money if you just went all in on auto repair instead of trying to juggle these, two other businesses that you're running. Very talented guy, very, very intelligent, very hardworking, and to a fault. And which is why like he's not letting go of this business because and the funny thing is, he had a price in mind, and I said, well, you know what, dude, like, I'm sorry, but it's actually not worth that much, and you're welcome to a check. I'm willing to challenge you on that. I'll, veto that any day. That it's worth about less than half of what you think it's worth, but it could be worth that or a lot more if you just focused on it. And the funny thing about that experience was, we kind of bonded through that experience because we both grew up in working in blue collar trades, and the lesson that I always keep coming back to that I'm so grateful for is focusing on one thing has been such a blessing and a curse for me, these last 18 years running auto repair shops because, I've already paid my ignorant debt by staying with one thing for as long as I have, and we figured out all the nuances and the little things that kind of make a repair shop profitable as well as long life sustaining, the long-term value of growing the business. So it was very refreshing to have the conversation, and it was really sad because this business could be doing about 4 times the revenue that it's currently doing, honestly, within 12 months or less. you know we know our operators and the kind of projections we would have would be about 4 to 5x in the next 12 months, and that could have been done honestly by any individual that is willing to put in the commitment and the effort and the coaching. That's another aspect of it, is going to go get the knowledge. And I guess the lesson here for someone who owns a shop, if you own a shop and you're watching this, I think the price of distraction continues to go up and up as your business develops. Because in the beginning, but I would also say that in the beginning, your price of distraction is very high because your business isn't worth anything if you're distracted, right? Like if your business isn't performing, say it's like doing 500,000 out of a repair shop, which isn't much. I mean, you guys know that it's you might make 50,000 a year, which you could go get a job and make that money. So what are you losing by being distracted? Well, you could be losing potentially at the very minimum doubling that business, right? You could be doing 1 million if you weren't distracted, and you could be, well, on a very conservative level, making $200,000 off that million, which means you're making 1/4 of what you could be making. So you could 4x your income if you just get rid of your distraction, whatever that is. And it's usually like one or two things, right? Like I know we talk about winning and success, kind of a tangent, but success is kind of hard to figure out, but failure is really easy to figure out. Like what you need to do to ruin your life, and it's probably like 5 or 7 things, and in reality it's probably like 2 things that you need to, like, that you're susceptible to. Like you may be susceptible to drugs or gambling or whatever. Like if you just go all in on those things, you will guaranteed ruin your life, and you know it. So if you just stop doing those things altogether and just like not even give yourself that decision to make those things because the decision's already made, because you already said I'm not doing those things like ever again, it just makes your headspace so much clearer by not allowing your brain to even have that decision on the table. So it's kind of a tangent, but that's also true for, like, when you're running other businesses that don't really make as much money. And in this fellow's case, he had another business that made significantly more money than his auto repair business does. And I asked him, I said, dude, like, why don't you just focus on that? He's like, well, I want to, but I'd rather get more money. I'm like, dude, if I were you, and I know this is very to my interest to say that, but like, dude, I wouldn't even like negotiate. I'd be like, dude, as long as it's somewhat reasonable price, just give it up so you can go. And how much money are you losing by not focusing on that business that you could be making a ton of money out of? So you're here negotiating with me, over 50 or 100 grand or whatever, but you could have made that already if you just went back to that other business and just not have been distracted and double that business, and you could have been making that money long ago instead of here thinking about, oh, I'm not getting enough for this business that doesn't make me any money and takes all my time. And some of you have like other things going on that don't even make money, like they're not even businesses, that are distracting you from running your business, where 12 months of focus, like 100% focus, like no mistresses, like your shop becomes your number one OG, your ride or die, your like your wife, right? Like that, you just do that for 12 months and you could do so much. You can move the needle so much further that even if you were to step back, you'd be miles and miles ahead of where you've been. And some of you have been stuck in the same place simply because you're just not willing to commit, because you have freaking volleyball or racquetball, or I don't know what the hell people play. I don't have any sports, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you guys got golf and wakeboarding and snowboarding, and you go for 2 weeks hunting. Like, all that stuff makes you lose momentum, right? When you're trying to build a business, like taking a rocket ship off of Earth into the space, right? And just like a rocket ship, it doesn't stop halfway through and says, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. You can't do that. Like, you got to leave gravity before you take a break. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck. Well, you're going to go all the way down and hit Earth again, and all that work would have honestly been for nothing. Like, I've seen it happen over and over. People are like, I worked hard for like 7 months. Dude, just work hard for like 3 more, get a replacement train, and then you can get out and take all the vacation time you need. But people just don't look at it like that. Like, it's, you put one step in front of you. You don't get a staircase in one day. Like, you got to get to the top so that you connect the staircase from the bottom floor to the top floor. You don't just stop at like the 9th step and then you're like, well, I'm not willing to finish the staircase. Well, someone else will, and they're going to make all the money the moment they connect it. Like, that's the kicker, right? And that is what, these guys buy businesses. I've seen this happen like over and over and over. Like, some of my friends that have bought businesses and crushed it. They bought a business doing $1 million and now they're doing 4 million because the old owner had everything in place except for like one thing. And the moment this guy comes in and just puts that one thing in place, and boom, 4X's, then nothing's netting $1 million a year. Netting, which is insane, right? Like, I've seen this happen. And it makes me, happy for my friends, but it makes me sad, honestly, as an owner, for other owners to be like, man, that guy, if he had just had a little bit better perspective, a little bit more commitment, and I think plenty of owners work very, very hard. I usually don't see the hard work being an issue. It's really just not pulling the right levers. So anyway, long rant on, buying businesses and all that, and distraction, and the price of distraction, and also the price of not committing. I hope that's helpful, and I hope you commit to your business because it will make you great rewards. I heard someone say this, I don't know who it was, but it says, if you commit to the business, it will commit to you. And I think that's a good place to end this on.